The VLGA has put together a councillor professional development program that not only aligns with the Victorian Government's mandatory guidelines, but does so in a cost-effective and time-efficient way. The series of learning intensives planned for later in the year allow councils to partner with their neighbouring councils to deliver core training. All modules are covered in 6 half-day sessions, and because the learning is shared with other councils, the costs are significantly reduced. The VLGA also offers bespoke training and can customise a program that responds directly to the unique professional development needs of your council. No matter your preferred method of delivery, the VLGA Councillor Professional Development Program will increase councillor confidence and competence. To find out more, email vlga@vlga.org.au. Coming up on your Friday edition of the Roundup, contention over a push for multi-council enterprise agreements. The ESC releases its annual rate capping report. A new CEO announced, and support for another dealing with personal attacks. Wins and disappointments for New South Wales councils. A general manager announces retirement. A council pay dispute resolved in Queensland. And a councillor suspended after a budget debate becomes heated. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. All of that and more just ahead on Australia's #1 local government podcast. It's the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. Thanks for joining me today. Heading this edition, Warrnambool City Council has been accused of trying to ram through a workplace agreement, threatening a union's plans for one multi-regional council agreement. The ASU claims a growing number of staff want a new multi-employer approach to enterprise bargaining in Victoria under new laws that allow for such agreements. But Warrnambool CEO Andrew Mason told the Roundup that the council approached the ASU in December to initiate bargaining negotiations. That was more than 6 months before the expiry of the current agreement, and there was a delay from the ASU before it then proposed a multi-party agreement approach. Mr Mason said the council is not opposed to such an approach in future and has proposed a shorter agreement in order to begin discussions on how a multi-party deal could work for its staff. The council has offered a 3.5% increase each year for the next 2 years, on par with or exceeding comparable councils, and it says it's concerned about a delay in delivering a pay increase given current cost of living challenges. It's understood Warrnambool Council will put its single employer agreement to a vote from today, with a result expected before the end of the month. A recent challenge to the multi-party process in the federal court by Central Goldfields Shire Council was unsuccessful after the Fair Work Commission ruled its workers could bargain collectively with those at Ararat Rural City Council. The Roundup understands a handful of other metropolitan and regional councils have moved to survey their staff on whether they wish to join a multi-council bargaining process, with more expected to follow Warrnambool's move to maintain single employer bargaining processes, at least for now. Tune into this week's episode of VLGA Connect when Sally Jones, the interim CEO at Central Goldfields, returns for an update on the recent court action and where to next for her council. That episode is releasing later today on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. In other news, the Essential Services Commission has released its 2025 Local Government Outcomes Report, which it says shows that Victorian council rate caps have kept rate increases below historical levels while maintaining councils' financial health. The report indicates that while councils face some challenges, including increased overdue rates and rising waste management costs, most remain financially sound, with low debt levels and reasonable cash reserves. ESC Chair and Commissioner Gerard Brodie said the increase in the proportion of overdue rates highlights the importance of councils developing effective financial hardship policies, and he's encouraged people struggling to pay their rates to reach out to their council to see what support is available. Matthew Cripps has been appointed as the new Chief Executive Officer of Bayside City Council and has commenced in the role with immediate effect. Mr Cripps is the council's former Director of City Planning and Amenity and has served as acting CEO since March when long-term CEO Mick Cummins left the organisation. Mr Cripps said he was honoured to be appointed and looked forward to building on the council's strong organisational culture and exploring new opportunities for growth and innovation. The Mayor of West Wimmera Shire has released a statement in support of the council's CEO, David Bezuidenhout, in the wake of a spread of misinformation and personal attacks. Councillor Tim Meyer issued the statement on behalf of all councillors, condemning recent graffiti attacks on the council building in Edenhope and linking it to current industrial action. He said the council acknowledges the right of union members to take industrial action, but the defacement of public property is unacceptable, as are the personal attacks on the CEO and staff. Councillor Meyer said all councillors condemned the actions and stand united in support of David, whose salary package is market-aligned and determined by an independent consultant and councillors. The vacant position on Golden Plains Shire Council has been filled in a countback. Accountant John Crow will take the spot vacated by former Mayor Brett Cunningham, who resigned last month. It's the second countback since the commencement of the current term late last year. The state government has extended the final reporting date for the Board of Inquiry into the Macrae landslide to allow for more expert evidence gathering. The inquiry is looking into a January incident in Mornington Peninsula Shire where homes were evacuated and a council worker was hospitalised. It's investigating the cause of the landslide and looking to identify preventative measures for similar incidents. The board now has until the 10th of September to provide its final report to the government. Hampton Park residents have rallied at State Parliament to oppose a proposed waste transfer station, with over 50 community members supporting a petition debate led by opposition MP Anne-Marie Hermans. The Pakenham Officer Star News reported that the MP has called for an investigation into Casey Council's issuing of a planning permit and a probity audit into the council's governance. Planning Minister Sonia Kilkenny said that request should be directed to the Ombudsman or the Local Government Inspectorate. To Corangamite Shire Council, which says it will pursue prosecutions over ongoing vandalism and damage to public assets in Port Campbell. Multiple acts of vandalism in the area have included destruction of planter boxes, bollards and a stone wave feature, with repair costs running into the thousands. CEO David Ray said more significant recent damage has been deliberate at worst and negligent at best. The council has reported the incidents to police and is maintaining surveillance cameras and may look at bollards or barriers if necessary. It's commissioned another external traffic safety review to look at that issue. And proactive initiatives to improve the cleanliness of public spaces in Latrobe City Council have resulted in a significant fall in reports of litter and illegal dumping. Measures, including an expanded hard waste program and hotspot inspections, have contributed to a drop in reports in 2024 to 573, down from 1,100 just 2 years earlier. But councillors are concerned about state-managed roads where they can't collect rubbish without permission. Deputy Mayor Sharon Gibson said the unnecessary red tape is frustrating and holding back efforts to have a cleaner city. More council news briefs. Gannawarra Shire Council's Digital Transformation Project has won the Digital and Technology Award at the LG Pro Awards for Excellence. The project enhanced resident engagement through online forms and a new website. And Hepburn Shire is celebrating wins in 2 categories, recognised for its Juwang Baring Creswick Trails project in the Outstanding Small Rural Council Initiative category and the Community Assets and Infrastructure category. The $9.4 million trail network project has transformed Creswick into a trails destination. More trails news out of Greater Shepparton, which has released an exploratory report detailing plans for a 46-kilometre shared use trail connecting Shepparton to Murchison via several towns, with an additional 12-kilometre connection to Tatura. The project, which builds on previous feasibility studies, will require further investigation into environmental impacts, cultural heritage considerations and funding arrangements before proceeding. Now, on Monday, we looked at some King's Birthday Honours recipients. We did miss a few, and thanks to those listeners who've pointed that out. If there's any more, please absolutely let us know. Former Nillumbik Shire CEO and Director of Advocacy at Wyndham, Bill Forrest, has been honoured with a Medal of the Order of Australia for service to urban planning, the arts and to the community. Devonport City Councillor and former Mayor Steve Martin has also received a Medal of the Order of Australia for his extensive community service and volunteer work, having also served as a senator and leading a number of community organisations in Tasmania. And Chris Grillis, a former councillor of 30 years on Orange City Council, including 4 years as Deputy Mayor, can now also add OAM after his name. Time for our New South Wales report. Wallandilly Shire Council has expressed disappointment about the recently authorised Western Sydney International Airport flight paths, particularly regarding the unfair impact of nighttime flights on Silverdale and surrounds. The airport's Stage 1 development will initially handle up to 10 million annual passengers by 2033, expanding to accommodate 37 million passengers by 2055. The council is calling for comprehensive noise mitigation measures for all affected residential areas. Mid-Coast Council Mayor Claire Ponton is seeking Category D disaster classification and betterment funding from state and federal governments to address severe infrastructure damage from repeated flood events across the region. Mayor Ponton said that current like-for-like repair funding is insufficient and is advocating instead for upgraded infrastructure that can better withstand future floods, along with comprehensive community recovery support, including mental health services and temporary housing. A New South Wales government decision to continue funding the Beach Watch program under the current model has been welcomed by Willoughby City Council. The decision to continue the current arrangement for 2 years reverses a decision of the previous state government to shift the cost onto local councils. Mayor Tanya Taylor said it was a fantastic decision that would see support continue for local recreation as well as environmental management of waterways. Ku-ring-gai Council has proposed an alternative housing solution for the Gordon to Roseville corridor, prioritising heritage and environmental protection over the state government's existing transport-oriented development policy. The new scenario, developed with community input, awaits approval from the state government and could replace current planning controls if accepted. Narrandera Shire Council's General Manager George Cowan has announced his retirement effective September 16 after serving at the council since 2017 and dedicating nearly 50 years to local government. Mayor Neville Kashenka has acknowledged Mr Cowan's lasting legacy in the Shire, noting his advancement of key economic development opportunities and infrastructure upgrades. The council will begin the recruitment process for a new General Manager at its meeting next week. Bega Valley Shire Council is urging the state government to implement immediate reforms regarding the legal status of tiny homes and portable dwellings. Mayor Russell Fitzpatrick said the current planning framework doesn't recognise the tiny homes as legitimate housing and that nothing had changed after more than 2 years of advocacy on the issue. He said the lack of clear legislation has led to confusion in the community and potential compliance issues, with the council being forced to take action against non-compliant structures while facing criticism for enforcing state regulations. And the New South Wales Government has introduced legislation to ban private providers from conducting local government elections, following issues during some 2024 council elections with significant disruptions and errors, according to the South West Voice. Local MPs Karishma Kalyanda and Nathan Haggerty have welcomed the reforms, which will make the New South Wales Electoral Commission the sole authority for running council elections. They say the move will ensure better integrity and consistency in the electoral process. More New South Wales news. 5 memorial plaques honouring teenagers killed in a tragic car crash in Wallandilly Shire were stolen from public bench seats over the King's birthday weekend, prompting outrage from Mayor Matt Gould, who has reported the theft to police. Lismore City Council has awarded a $5 million contract to Volvo Group Australia for 8 new state-of-the-art waste collection trucks set to begin service from September with improved safety features, efficiency and environmental benefits. The funding is being provided through a New South Wales Government grant. And Goulburn Mulwaree Council has been announced as a Yellow Ribbon Council and signed an MOU with the Safer Australian Roads and Highways Group to promote road safety in the region. The Sarah Group, funded by Peter Fraser OAM after his daughter's tragic death in 2012, works to improve road safety through various initiatives, including policy development, education and collaboration with government and community organisations. This is the Local Government News Roundup, episode number 463, recorded Friday the 13th of June and brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with a brand new edition of VLGA Connect coming your way later today, Friday, on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks also to Symphony 3 for their support for the podcast. Talk to them about their Smart Glue solution so that your council can have simple, connected customer experiences. Let's whip round the rest of the nation now. In Queensland, Noosa Council has reached an in-principle agreement with unions on a new certified agreement that offers staff a 15% pay rise over 3 years. The development follows a period of industrial action, including staff lockouts. The agreement needs to be approved by a staff-wide vote, which CEO Larry Sengstock said he hoped can be arranged soon. Cairns Regional Council has made a submission to the Queensland Government outlining a comprehensive vision for leveraging the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games to create lasting benefits for the region. The Council's vision encompasses 6 strategic pillars and 10 key focus areas, including development of women's sports and community infrastructure. Brisbane Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner has announced the establishment of a new customer services portfolio within Civic Cabinet, led by Councillor Sarah Hutton. He said the new portfolio will focus on using technology to enhance everyday services. The Civic Cabinet restructure also includes several changes to other portfolios, with waste being transferred to environment, parks and sustainability, and city standards merging into infrastructure. Experienced New Zealand local government leader Paul Gardner is headed to Circular Head Council in Tasmania, taking up the position of General Manager from next month. He replaces Vanessa Adams, who departed the role in February. Mr Gardner is a veteran of more than 20 years in leadership roles across multiple sectors in the UK, New Zealand and Australia. An Adelaide City councillor has been suspended and reprimanded after a heated debate over the upcoming budget, according to a report from the Adelaide Advertiser. Lord Mayor Jane Lomax-Smith repeatedly warned Councillor Henry Davis about disorderly conduct, while fellow councillors accused him of improper behaviour. Councillor Janet Giles said she feels unsafe to speak at meetings due to Councillor Davis's actions. She's being sued by Councillor Davis for defamation. The contentious debate centred on key budget items, including a proposed minimum $600 rate increase and funding for local community projects. Tumby Bay District Council has decided to terminate the lease for both the Tumby Bay and Port Neal jetties earlier than planned due to unsustainable maintenance costs and rapid deterioration. Both jetties will be handed back to the state government, and the council is seeking collaboration with the state to identify future options for the communities. In Western Australia, Port Hedland Mayor Peter Carter has warned that the council faces potential dissolution and installation of a commissioner if councillors cannot work together to pass the budget at the council's next meeting. His concerns, reported by the North West Telegraph, follow ongoing turmoil, including the recent resignation of Councillor Ambika Rebello, and concerns from the local government minister Hannah Beasley, who says she's prepared groundwork to put the council into administration if necessary. The council was previously dissolved in 2019 over governance issues and councillor resignations. And the City of Stirling is standing by its e-scooter hire scheme, according to Perth Now, despite growing safety concerns following a fatal accident in Perth's CBD. While other councils, including Perth and Vincent, have suspended their programs, Stirling Mayor Mark Irwin says the city will continue to monitor usage and incidents, but insists that regulation and enforcement are the responsibility of the state government. The city reports high usage and relatively few incidents from its 250 vehicles, but will consider additional controls if needed. Rockingham, Busselton, Bunbury, Greater Geraldton and the town of Cambridge are also maintaining their e-scooter hire schemes for the time being. More news in brief. ALGA President Matt Burnett has announced that this year's National Local Roads, Transport and Infrastructure Congress will be held in Greater Bendigo in Victoria in November. The Congress program will focus on road and transport issues, innovation and community infrastructure, and early bird registrations are now open. LGA South Australia is calling for a legislative fix to ensure veterinarians and microchip implanters directly record pet microchipping and desexing data in the state's dogs and cats online database. It says a current loophole allows the responsibility to be shifted to pet owners, resulting in incomplete records and making it harder for councils to manage pets effectively. And construction is about to commence on the Onslow Town Centre upgrade, a partnership between WA's Shire of Ashburton and Chevron. The project will revitalise the town centre, with completion expected by year's end. Squeezing in lots of extra news in this edition, as we only have the 2 episodes this week after that King's Birthday long weekend. Our final global roundup for the week for you now. From the UK firstly, research by the Local Government Chronicle has revealed significant division within the UK local government sector over the ideal size of new unitary councils. Many respondents have questioned the suitability of the government's proposed 500,000 population threshold. While some believe the change could bring long-term savings and more joined-up services, others express concerns about rushed implementation, lack of evidence and the risk of reduced democratic accountability. The UK government will send commissioners to take control of Croydon Council after a report warned that the council faces effective bankruptcy for the 4th time since 2020. The Guardian reports that despite previous savings and asset sales, Croydon's finances continue to deteriorate, forcing reliance on government support and raising concerns about further cuts and tax increases. And Leeds City Council is writing off more than £650,000 in unpaid council tax after determining that there's no realistic prospect of collection. The debts span over a decade and include cases where debtors have died, have been made bankrupt, cannot be traced or have no means to pay. More on that from BBC News. From Austria, the city of Innsbruck in the western part of the country has officially entered the bid to host Eurovision 2026, with the city council this week assigning Olympia World Innsbruck as the proposed venue. The city joins several other Austrian contenders, including Vienna and Graz, in submitting a bid to the national broadcaster ORF. To the US, a man has been sentenced to a year in jail for sending threatening messages to the city manager, the former mayor and the manager's wife in the city of Cadillac, Michigan. In making his decision, the judge emphasised that words have consequences, and he imposed the maximum sentence to safeguard the community. More on that story from the Cadillac News. Boston City Council has made the Office of LGBTQIA2S+ Advancement a permanent part of city government to advocate for the rights and well-being of those residents. The council said the decision aims to strengthen local protections amid national challenges and reaffirms the city's commitment to diversity and inclusion. And the city manager in Sunnyside, Washington, Mike Gonzalez, has been placed on 30 days paid administrative leave after filing a harassment complaint against Councilwoman Teresa Hancock. The Tri-City Herald reported that another city staff member has also accused Councilwoman Hancock of harassment and racism. An acting city manager has been appointed while an internal investigation is ongoing. And Christchurch City Council in New Zealand is considering reducing the number of tsunami sirens from 45 to just a few in areas with poor cell phone coverage, following a review of its alerting system. The report recommends using emergency mobile alerts as the primary warning method, with sirens serving as a secondary backup. That issue is on the agenda for the Council's meeting coming up next week. That's all I have for you on the Local Government News Roundup for today, Friday the 13th of June, and for this week. This has been episode number 463. Brought to you as always by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. If you'd like to know more about any of the stories in this episode, you'll find the links at lgnewsroundup.com. There's a transcript there as well, and you can also usually find that transcript in your podcast player, depending on which service you use. The Local Government News Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening, and bye for now. Thrilled to welcome Symphony 3 to the Local Government News Roundup family. If you're a local council, you know how challenging it can be to manage data across all your different systems. That's where Symphony 3 comes in. They've developed Smart Glue, a platform that integrates over 55 council systems, automating data flow without the need for manual work. It turns confusion into simplicity. With Smart Glue, councils save time, reduce errors and empower staff to focus on what really matters. Their clients see a real difference, up to 20% boost in productivity, with savings of over $30,000 per integration every year. Symphony 3 helps councils work smarter, faster and more efficiently, all while better supporting the communities they serve.